This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
G'day everybody, thanks for joining me. I've got a chat to share with you featuring Jack Meille and Robb Weir from Tygers of Pan Tang. The conversation occurred whilst we were on 70,000 tonnes of metal, 2024. So the conversation is wrapped around the goings on the boat and plenty of other topics. So why don't we hit it? Here they are, Jack and Robb from Tygers of Pan Tang.
Great stuff. Well, this is a fantastic opportunity to finally talk to you, Robb. It's, how many opportunities do we get from Australia to chat to someone from Tygers from Pan Tang? So there you go.
Absolutely, it's thank you very much.
Yeah. The boat. Tell us your impressions and your experience so far.
We love it. What's not to love? You know, you're on a huge sailing mobile hotel, 5-star. You know,
Las Vegas, looking like.
Yeah, absolutely, with absolutely everything on it that you could possibly want. Sailing down to the Caribbean. I mean, what's who in the right mind wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah.
Great.
And if you like music, you've got 60 bands to check out.
60 bands that all play twice. So you, in the space of 5 days, you wouldn't get that at a open air festival.
No.
You wouldn't get 120 performances. It's just crikey. And what you wouldn't get was the fact that you can sit down with somebody and have dinner with them and chew the fat.
Yeah, has it been like that for you, bumping into fans, old and new, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Bumping into old fans is fantastic, but bumping into new fans has a little bit of an edge because you've got a little bit of work to do there. You have to completely
going on excursion on the waterfalls, to the waterfalls, and with people, and they say, "Oh, are you really one of the Tigers?"
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah,
So you enjoyed the onshore experience because you were one of the bands that offered your accompaniment. I think it is.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I didn't go, but Jack and Craig went.
We went for it. We went to the waterfalls.
Cool. Yeah,
good.
Okay. Yeah,
fantastic.
And that was an opportunity to interface with the fans, and you got the full-on Tygers of Pan Tang fans that wanted to do that. Is that how?
Yeah.
The trip was cool. It was good. They were a bit shy, and then finally everything was okay. Obviously, the thing that really amazed me is the fact that it's such a laid back vibe. Everybody's here. He's here to have a good time, to have fun, and to listen to music. We're all music fans, and that's what comes through more than ever. And obviously, there's the bonus that you can, even for us, meaning I've been meeting, heroes of mine. I never had a chance to see My Dying Bride, so. And I got the chance not only to see it, but to just shake hands and talk to the singer and say how much I appreciate the show and everything. So, it's exactly. So it's and you meet new friends, you meet old friends, you meet other members of the band you haven't seen in a long time. Even Italian, meaning there's a lot of Italians. I'm Italian, so there's a lot of Italian bands here, and sometimes even though we're not far away, meaning we ended up. I ended up traveling with old Vision Divine that are from my same area. I come from Florence in Italy and from Tuscany, but we don't really have a chance to meet each other. So all of a sudden we're here we are.
I feel like for you guys, just on that point there about Italian bands and just bands in general, but you guys, I feel like, are cresting a bit of a wave at the moment. I think that wave might have started on your self-titled album in 2016 because I reviewed that, and it's a very strong album. And it's endeared yourselves in some ways to the extreme metal audience, because I know you do a lot of these sorts of festivals, but what I've just said then, does that resonate? Do you agree with that?
I think it probably from '87 when I kind of walked away from the music industry altogether through just it just being the music industry, and had a bit of a hiatus. And when I decided, I got a phone call in '99 saying, did I want to be part of the reunion at Wacken? To which, a nanosecond passed in my brain, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. Didn't have any guitars, that's because I'd sold everything. I just walked away from it all. Still collected records, though, oddly enough. So obviously my brain was still connected in that way. I still went and bought and listened to all what people were doing. And I suppose deep down there was, not even deep down, there was the I quite like that, I could have written that, or I wish I'd written that, or there was that going around in my head. And after we played Wacken, we headlined for some bizarre reason on the Friday night, with Saxon on before us, Dokken on before us, Hammerfall on before us, and I thought, oh my God. Girls' School were playing one of the tents, and I just thought, are we really in the right position on the bill here? But anyway, we went out and played to 22,000 people at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it came out as a live album. And from then I just got well and truly bitten by the rock and roll bug again. It managed to embed itself in my veins, and set about putting the Tygers back together again in one form or another, really. And finally, when we found Jack in 2004, 20 years ago, that's really when
I was the youngest one. I'm not.
It was Jack's the baby.
I used to be the baby. Now I am uncle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes. It took a little bit of arranging. Yeah, that's probably the right word to say. And like all bands, members come and members go because of all sorts of reasons. They're all generally personal reasons, of course, through whatever situations that they find themselves in. But Jack joined. We recorded Animal Instinct, 2008, was it? Which was a great album, and really a step in the direction that I kind of wanted us to go to. So we still had new wave of British heavy metal roots, as it were, because we're very gracious and very grateful for those, because that's where we came from. But we're still a shout back to those times. But of course, you can't live on those laurels, until you die. You want your career to move forward and to produce new things, and that's exactly what we've done. So Animal Instinct was a great starting block. I always look at bands' careers as a staircase, and each album you have to climb up to the next stair, and the next stair, and indeed you never get to the top of the staircase, because if you got to the top of the staircase, where do you go? You're kind of saying this is
become Guns N' Roses and start hating each other.
Well, you kind of when you're at the top of the staircase, you kind of say, we don't know where to go now, because
the most frightening thing for a musician is to realize you made the best album you could ever make, and realize I can't go any better. That's probably one of the best moments in your life, and also the worst of the freakiest, because you go, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah. But where for whatever people and whatever the gracious comments we have with all the albums that we've brought out, we still feel we're going up. We're going forward, and we're climbing up to the next stair. Because for me, the top of the staircase isn't in sight. We're still going. We're still producing great music.
Yeah. The other thing from having joined the band and being a fan before joining, and grew up. I grew up with listening to the iconic 4 albums. The one thing that really amazed me about Tygers was that between 1980 and 1982, they released 4 albums, and they're 4 complete different albums, but still with an identity. So that's for me that always been the goal and the challenge to put all those different ingredients that made those Tygers album great into one, and then into one album, and then sometimes into one single song. So I'm very pleased. Listening back to some of the songs on Blocklines, that you have the old new wave of British heavy metal riff, then you have a catchy chorus. So you put together those elements of more melodic and the edgy feeling and the melodic feeling all together in one, and that's what makes also possible that you can come to a show and listen to Euthanasia and then the latest single, and you don't feel like there's a gap or there's is this the same band? Yes, it is the same band, because there's always an element that kind of is present in the music.
The material generally has to rock.
Yeah.
It has to be exciting. And I have a lot of albums from bands, in the 70s, and unfortunately it was a time where it was renowned for, and this is where the word fillers come from. You would put an album on your record deck, you'd ask your mate around, you go open a couple of tinnies, and have a beer and say, I'm going to play you this track, meaning this was the best track of the album.
Yeah.
So you play that track, and you would probably skip 3 or 4 tracks and then play the next one you thought was the next best one. Thankfully, and this is what the press is saying, not us, thankfully, for Tygers, the days of fillers have gone. Every track is standalone, which is great news.
Yeah,
it really is great news. And indeed, I hope when you and all the lovely folk of Australia listen to our, when they discover us and listen to our music, that they'll feel the same. That they can't. So when you do ask your mate around and you crack up your tinnies again, you can't say, I'm going to play you this track. You're going to say, actually, I don't know what track to play you. That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
And then your friend says, well, just dig it on and we'll listen to it all.
Well, it was a strength of the self-titled album, because it was the first time I knew about the old albums, knew about the legacy and the history, if you like. You saw the old videos on YouTube. But it's one thing to have the legacy, it's a completely different thing to be in the present, in the here and now.
Sure, of course, absolutely.
And to have a strong album that stands on its own 2 feet. To be quite frank with you, I remember when I was doing the review, I had to check it with you guys.
Thank you.
And just because it was so energetic and it was upbeat, because a lot of legacy acts aren't doing that.
No, I just had a massive vitamin shot, so I was fine.
The thing, it's a. Well, I'm saying this to an Australian guy. It's like, the heritage is a boomerang, because if you rely too much on the heritage, it's it's risky. You have to prove yourself that you are worth the heritage. And you have to be alive, and otherwise you go into tribute band territories, which is what we don't want, because we, especially the latest lineup has, it has personality, has the will to write good songs, and when I write good song, and pay tribute and respect to the old stuff, so that when we play those songs and we play a set list, we track down a set list, old stuff and new stuff will just generally match and go well one next to each other. Otherwise, because I've seen from an audience point of view, meaning I'm not going to tell the name, but you just go. People are just waiting for the old song, and then the new song come out, and just go
waiting for the last 2 songs to come out, which you got the bangers in them, and that's it. And everything they sort of suffer through the new material up to that point, but it isn't like that with you guys, based on the strength of what's on the albums, and to your point about not having any filler on them.
No, I don't know, and it's quite a task, really for Jack and I to do the set lists. I mean, we tried to do it as a band the other day, and it just ends up as a fallout in the nicest possible way, of course, because for whatever song somebody once says we should play, somebody has a counter, and we're lucky because we've got 13 albums to draw from, and indeed if we played one song of each album, we would have enough material for a full live set, but. Of course, you have to do maybe a couple from this one, and the new album, like Bloodlines, you have to do 2 or 3 from that one, because that's what you're trying to promote. So therefore, you can't put in something else from yesteryear. And we have been asked to do an old school set.
Yes.
And just of a particular album. But to be honest with you, but why? What we can wait the set. With older songs, but we still want to play the new stuff. That we're very crikey, you know, when we say 2016, it's years ago, but we still call it new stuff. You know, we still want to play those songs because we feel they have incredible merit.
Yeah, and the other thing is that obviously at the beginning we were a little bit shy, meaning we were playing two maximum 3 new songs. Now we play, you know, when we started promoting Bloodlines, we ended up playing four to five songs. 4 to 5 songs, and you know, the first night we were checking the audience, everything was right, and it went down pretty well. Because there were people actually, I discovered you because of Edge of the World, and I went back. So I said, okay, so they wanted to hear. Meaning a guy I met, he asked, and I had to say to him, I'm sorry that, you know, your dream will not be, it will not happen, because he asked me to, are you playing Dust? And I say,
I saw the same guy.
And I said to him, well, I'm sorry. I feel very sorry. We're not going to play Dust from 2016. But on the other hand, I'm very happy to hear that, because you're not asking us to play Susie Smile.
Yes. Yeah.
Which we're going to play.
But I also think it's quite clever if you can play a song. We have done this in the past, a new song, and people think it's not a new song. Yeah. They think it's an older song. So therefore, that means you're obviously writing and creating material that feels very familiar to them. Yeah. It's not, oh gosh, I've never heard this before. It's like, oh yeah, I know this one, but they don't. Yeah. And I think that's, if you can do that.
If you can do that, you've arrived.
Absolutely, yeah. It's quite a clever thing.
And that's the feeling we had the first time I heard "Keeping Me Alive" riff. He played me "Keeping Me Alive" riff, and I said, this could have been from Spellbound, and people are going to love this song, and they will never judge it because it's new or old. It's just a Tygers song, and since we released it's been in the set. We always played it. And people are asking for that. There are countries where we have to play "Keeping Me Alive." If we don't play it, people look at us like, oh.
But we've already played this, folks, so we'll be playing today's.
I better wrap it up. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Great to catch up.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. My chat with the fellas from Tygers of Pan Tang. Great to catch up with them, and hopefully they can tour Australia sometime soon. There are many other conversations that were conducted aboard 70,000 tonnes of metal. So go across to the website, Scars and Guitars, or even right here on YouTube if that's where you're listening or watching the show, because the other episodes are easily found. All right, that's it from me. My name's Andrew Mackay Smith, and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast. Until the next one, it's a goodbye for now.